Hey, welcome to DLD 2016 in Munich. My name is Philipp Banse for DCTP.tv. My next guest is Henrik Müller-Hansen. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And we're talking about printing.
Well, printing or communication, but our core product is printing. That's right.
So why is it so important, printing, in your terms?
So if we take a step back and we look at the printing industry as such, many people think that the print industry is going down, but actually you need to divide it into two. So you have digital printing, and then you have the traditional offset. So typically you think about the offset printing, right? But we're only competing and operating in the digital. So if you take the sizes of these components, everyone speaks about Spotify and music, and that's per year, $15 billion US. Totally, annually. Printing industry is $800 billion. So when I started to look at these components, I saw this 50 times larger industry, which actually did not have a good way of distributing the files that were to be printed to the closest location to where the end recipient would get that order.
All right.
So basically what we've built is kind of a marketplace where buyers and sellers connect over one global cloud. And so the long-term ambition is that a company like BMW or Shell or any of the big global companies can manage their brand with local printing in every country and local distribution, which would do tremendously positive for our environment.
So your company is called Gelato?
Yes.
And but when I think about
gelato, you think about ice cream.
I think about ice cream, but now I wanted to say something else, because if you have a big German company and they want to print something like leaflets or whatever, we have lots of printing houses here in Germany, and you have one in Leipzig and one in Hamburg and one in Cologne, and you can print it wherever you want. So where do you come in?
Yes, so printing is actually not the clue here. Printing, when you become surgical about it, printing is just the tip of the iceberg. Actually, the big cost and the big time waste is through all the admin you need to do to get that print file in physical format delivered to your destination. So we basically remove all the nitty-gritty work, which is 80% of the total cost of a print job, through software. So if we go back to the case I gave you, Shell, with 200,000 plus employees across the world, we look at the print industry as super inefficient to manage a company like that, whereas Gelato comes in. Every employee in Shell can manage the brand and everything that needs to be printed over the phone. And
but
then
how is it so inefficient? I didn't get it. Why the printing industry is so inefficient?
You've ordered prints, right?
Yeah.
You think it's easy?
Easy, okay. I can do it in the web browser, upload my image, get it printed and mailed to my office. Yeah, it's easy.
Now you do it in Tokyo.
Why would I do it in Tokyo?
Well, if you're a big company, you want to do it in Tokyo, right?
Okay.
So we say local printing for global companies. So try to order, I'll give you 2 hours, try to order printing in Tokyo now.
To be delivered to my Tokyo office.
Exactly, 48 hours. Local printing, local delivery. Super efficient. And then also another problem that these companies have is that they print on different machines with different color textures and different papers. You put everything in one single global print cloud. You have this color consistency, you have the same paper, super environmentally friendly. So there are many components to this. And if you just look at single-handedly a person in Munich wanting to order prints, they don't need to use Gelato.
No, okay.
But try to order in Tokyo, New York, and Brazil at the same time without wasting days and weeks.
And to be delivered locally,
printed
same color.
And delivered locally. Yeah.
Okay, so it's an efficiency business too.
It's a marketplace. So we do the nitty-gritty job of the print industry, meaning billing, the editing, the storage, the distribution, the tracking, the customer service. So if you take an analogy to iTunes, right? You're an app developer, and all of a sudden you have access to 700 million iTunes users because you go on that platform so that you can reach all these countries without having to worry about the things that is really not your core competence.
And you don't own printing machines yourself.
Exactly. Okay. Which is also our take on the sharing economy. right? So
you're an Airbnb for homeless documents.
printers.
Homeless printers.
Well, we're a facilitator for efficient distribution of print files all across the world.
All right. And who are your customers?
So, as I said before, if you're a global company, you have run into these problems before. And local printing for global companies, that says a lot of what we're trying to achieve here. Now, of course, currently we distribute to about 1.2 billion people.
Okay.
We operate in 40 markets. And our long-term ambition is to operate in every country in the world, basically, and then have that local production, local distribution done for these global companies.
And if you look at the items that are printed, is this changing? Is the stuff that gets printed changing?
Yeah, so there are two major trends here, and I think you recognize them. Number one is you order less of these hundreds and thousands of batches, where you print like 100,000 annual reports. So that goes down to the benefit of digital, which is for smaller batches. And then the second trend is that what used to be purely analog, not personalized at all, now in the digital world, you can basically reach out to thousands of customers with your very personal message. And everything is automated. You don't have to do individual print files, but the software takes care of that.
Okay. Since you're based in Norwegian, I want to talk to you about another topic. The world community more or less has decided to get rid of oil and fossil fuels. Norway is really much depending on fossil fuels and the oil industry, fishing and oil. And I'm interested in how is this changing the Norwegian community, the business, the economy?
I mean, I don't think it's a Norwegian process. Yeah. It's a global process,
it's
right?
It's a global process, yeah.
But of course, Norway is super dependent on oil. And I think if we take the case of Gelato, we are getting more and more interest, both from the politicians as well as from the people applying, the really, the top-notch people applying to interesting companies, growth companies. But I think that Norway has done a great job when it comes to, you extract the oil, put that well invested all across the world. And basically, when we went to schools like 2-3 years ago, everyone wanted to go into the oil industry. When we go to the top schools today, no one goes to the oil industry. So for us, it's really good both from an employee perspective, and then also we get more and more attention in terms of politicians, companies, for tech companies in Norway.
That's interesting, because one scientist told me that a couple of weeks ago, which is really underestimated, is the effect not only that the politicians decide, well, we want to get rid of fossil fuels, but this effect when this political decision has sunk into the minds of businesses and economies, and once they have decided, well, this is not the road to future, we have to get out of this fossil fuel business, and that might change the whole game much more than political decisions. And if a country like Norway says, well, and if the business and the economy says, well, this is not the way to future, we have to go a different way, that this might change the whole dynamic of fighting climate change. Would you agree? Is this in play already?
Well, if you look at what I said before about Gelato and the way we deal with the production and distribution, we're part of fighting that climate change. And we're part of really propelling sustainability in the print industry. So you have actually another force when it comes to the attention Gelato is getting in the Nordics, which is just that, the positive consequence of sustainability that we bring to the planet. Because going back to where we started, this is a 50 times larger industry than music. So the size of the print industry is humongous, right? Now, if we can radically reduce the distribution distances, as well as improving the efficiency in the production, that can actually have a global positive impact. Going back to the specific question about Norway, I think that Norway has been very, very efficient in funneling the top brains to the oil industry and gas industry. And now we just need to take all these brainy people and move them into tech.
And is this going on already?
So I think the Nordic region as such have shown that from a tech perspective, we are very progressive. There are a number of really good tech successes that have sprung out of the Nordic hemisphere. Is it happening fast enough? No, I don't think so. But we're doing something about that. Gelato attracts people from all over the world, from the best universities. The last 2 hires, one from India and one from Brazil, both went to INSEAD, and then they moved to Norway to join Gelato, and they can pick, amongst many great companies and great brands, but still they pick Gelato. So, and I think that has to do with the size of the problem we're attacking, and the positive consequences for the world and the planet if we solve this.
And when we talk about printing and efficiency and climate change, printing is often associated with paper and dead trees. Where's the industry going there?
So, Niklas worked at Tele2 before me. So we both have the same background. Niklas Sennström at Skype.
It's a telecommunications company.
Yeah. So when Niklas left Tele2, he went to found Skype. And he had to create the big market, right? The IP telephony market didn't exist. We are just going into an already existing giant market and making it more efficient and more sustainable.
All right. Henrik Müller-Hansen, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having
Gelato
me here.
Group. Yeah, welcome. Thanks very much for watching. This is Philipp Banse from DLD 16 from Munich. Thanks for watching. See you soon.